Hello, everybody. This is Trina Gunzel, and welcome to the Legacy and Legends podcast. I'm so excited today to have my dear friend Jocelyn with you. She's amazing what she does. If you haven't got the chance to meet her yet, you are going to love her story and the products and programs she offers. So I'm going to go ahead and let her introduce herself to you. Good morning, Jocelyn.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me today. Like you said, I'm Jocelyn and my last name's Manzanarez. It's kind of a long one. I had to learn how to spell it by chunking it. My maiden name was Rice, so it's a little longer. But I am excited to be here as a music educator, passionate about early childhood. I'm just always looking for ways, places to get people really knowing about educating our young children and how important it is. And with, we hear about this, pre-K, universal pre-K programs coming out. And I just think it's so great for opportunities to really speak to anyone who can listen, because we're also concerned about the future of our children. So, looking forward to talking about kids and what I do. I'm a mom of two girls, 13 and 16. I live in Seattle, Washington, and run a music business called Musically Minded, where we teach early childhood music in childcare centers and preschools all around Seattle. And then I also work highly with teachers who want to bring the strategy of music into their classroom to get kids excited about learning, work with classroom management, and really just bring joy to teaching for not only the kids, but for them too.
I love this so much, Jocelyn, and this is a very close to my heart special mission because I have been an educator for 10 years as well. And all of the strategies that you teach, those are exactly the things kids need to know to be able to learn, to be able to read. I mean, the connection in all of the content areas through music is awesome. So I want to help spread the word like wildfire about what you do and get more people to know about your programs. And a lot of people wonder, are those people on the internet real? So we're going to have some fun today by just asking some get to know you questions so they can see what they have in common with you too. Is that cool?
Awesome. I love it. I'm on the hot seat. Let's do
Here
it.
we go. Here we go. Okay, Jocelyn. So what's your favorite movie? If you had to pick a favorite movie, what is it?
Well, so it's funny because growing up, my mom, and she still loves watching movies all the time. And so we would we'd go down to what's the movie place called? It wasn't Blockbuster, but some local
Oh
movie
yeah.
place there in
Right.
a little town in Montana. And we'd get a big stack of videos that we would go home
Mhm.
with. And there was one that I would just love, probably totally inappropriate for my age. But it was Vacation. So National Lampoon's Vacation with
Oh
Terry.
yeah.
And man, I can just throw out lines off of that one forever. And, I still watch it to this day. Of course, Christmas Vacation is right behind there. But yeah, that's kind of my sense of humor is in that movie.
I love it because it helps me get to know you better too. That's one of our family ones we watch at Christmas just because it's
Yes.
hilarious. Yes. Awesome. I love it. Well, and what about if you had to pick a favorite food?
Ooh, I love food. Now, a funny story about food is I grew up with my mom cooking amazing meals like all the time, weekdays, and I had no idea how
Oh,
much work that was. And and so of course I loved food. And so when I got to college, I couldn't cook because she didn't ever have me in the kitchen.
that
So
happened to me too. Are you serious? That's
yeah,
exactly what happened to me.
yeah. My college roommate still has a burn on her hand where I tried to put a plastic dish in the oven to cook something in. So it was pretty bad. But so when I think about food, oh my goodness, I just love everything. I would say my favorite food is a combination of savory and sweet breakfast items.
Oh,
So,
fun.
like I get my husband to order the eggs Benedict, I get the French toast, and I just kind of go back and forth with a great cup of coffee.
You're gonna love one of my clients, Kim Byerly. She actually has a travel business, travel consultant, and it's called Sweet and Savory Getaways. So
Ooh,
that's
I
why I was
might
like,
have to
you would
follow
love
that.
that. Yeah, it's like a foodie travel thing all around.
Oh, yes, yum.
That sounds amazing. You're making me hungry. We'll have lunch when this is over.
Yes, for sure.
Let's see. And what about, I know as an educator, I'm sure you have tons of books you could pick, but what is a book that has impacted your life?
Oh man. There are so
So
many.
many, right?
So I have this book that I continue to go back to, and it's called Simple Abundance.
What is it
And
called?
Simple Abundance.
Oh, I like that. Cool.
And it's a daily reader. And
Mm-hmm.
so, you turn to February 10th and you read February 10th's thoughts. And it's about finding your authentic self.
Mm-hmm.
And, being a mom and a business owner and a wife and all that, I think sometimes we lose who we are and because we're so busy serving others.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, I love to be grounded in those words every day or as often as I can. So, I think I went about a year without reading it, and then I just picked it up again a couple months ago. And I mean, I've read this for years, but I didn't remember what March 15th reading was. But when I
Yeah.
read it, it resonated with me, and it was just what I needed. So I love it, and I love daily reminders and those sort of things that just help to put me back in that place where I can go on and be my best throughout the day.
That's beautiful. Like those little, I have always a little flip calendar and it has a
Yes,
quote on there too, right? Yes,
yes.
that's awesome. I wonder if that's part of, I'd be interested to see how many educators do that. Because I always have like little happy books or little inspiration to keep, we're positive,
Oh
uplifting
yeah,
people.
yeah. You can't stop this stuff. I mean, I go through phases where I start to kind of feel down, and
Yeah,
I notice that it's a direct correlation with how much I'm working on my own personal
mhm,
development. And I feel it, so it's just not something you can stop, and that's why I think those daily doses or throughout the day are so important.
that's a really good point. I love that. And I love what you said too, just to honor like you can be a super positive person, but we still go through down times. Everybody has struggles and challenges and just sharing that. Like some people think it's never okay to not be happy. Well, yeah, you got to recognize you have all the emotions, right?
Absolutely. And I think that that's the thing. It's like, maybe I show up on social media and I'm like, oh, happy, happy, happy. But you know what? It's all BS because everybody, that's just your highlight reel. I mean,
Yeah,
let's be honest. And
yeah.
I think that's so important to remind everyone because,
Mhm.
even our teenagers, they're sitting there seeing people at their best with all these
That's
people,
right.
other kids gathered around them, but they're in their room alone sometimes too, just like they
Hmm.
are.
Yep.
They have bad days, they have, things that they're upset about. And just reminding everybody that, we all go through these emotions and it's a sign that we're alive.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Life is not perfect. And I believe me, I was one of those like, all I want to do is positivity. I'm always going to put the good. Well, then it's like people think your whole life is perfect. And so you go through something hard and they're like, what? I thought
Yeah.
your life was perfect. No, nobody's life is perfect.
Yeah. Or else I think you also, they just naturally compare themselves to you and then judge
Yeah.
their life going, oh, my life's not that good.
Hmm.
It's like, no, we all have our struggles. We all have our great things and we're just rolling through life the best we can.
Oh, I love that you spoke to that. Thank you, because that's really refreshing and needed in this world. Leave it to my educator friend. Way to go, Jocelyn. I love it. All right. So a lot of people are interested in kind of the journey. What has been your work and educational history journey to this point?
All right. So here's my journey. I was in music was always a part of my life.
Mm.
So from a very young age, I was playing the piano and singing, and my parents were very encouraging. The piano was in our kitchen, which I
Oh,
really
cool.
think made a big difference
Yeah.
because I love to be with people
Mm.
and I love just being able to play music whenever I wanted. It was just right there, so easy for me to just go over and play a song and walk away. And I just always was filling that up in my life. And so then when I got into high school and I'm like, okay, what am I going to do with my life? I knew I wanted a job, a
Mhm.
degree that I could like go into a very set career. Like, sometimes if
Mhm.
you're a political science major, that's vague. It's like you
Yep.
could do a lot of different things, but if I was a teacher, then I would know exactly where I would get my
Right.
job. But I loved music and I loved kids, so I matched them up and went and got my degree in music education from the University of Montana. Got my first
Mhm.
job out here in Washington State, Port Orchard, Washington. Taught first grade through sixth grade music education. And for anybody out there who has had a first year teaching, or maybe it doesn't happen until the third or fourth, it was the year from you know what.
Uh-huh.
And it was horrible. It made me really second guess whether I was in the right spot.
Right.
And I mean, it was just really, really hard because
Yeah.
I literally did not have activities that would get me through that 30 minutes. I didn't know how to manage that 30 minutes. I didn't know what to do when a fourth grader was, talking back to me. I didn't know how to get a group's attention. And I was in a giant gym,
Mm.
huge gym. There's a joke. Seriously, thinking about it, like, wow, I was set up for success. So I did that for 1 year.
Mhm.
And then I moved to another place where I did kindergarten through third grade music. And that was so much better. I really did enjoy that a lot more. But I really felt a pull to the young children. I started to learn about the research in birth through five.
Yep.
And just what could happen when you reach a child at a very young age. How can you impact their life in those few short years that are so pivotal? Yet, often they're not in an educational setting. So how can you inform parents? And so that's when I left and I went and got my degree in my master's in early childhood music and started musically minded. And I did parent child classes and I really loved those because what I would do is, I say, all right, we're gonna do a bounce. Everybody get your little one and put him on your lap. And we'd say, bouncing up and down in the little red wagon, bouncing up and down in the little red wagon, bouncing up and down in the little red wagon, won't you be my darling? And what
Oh,
I
I
didn't
love it.
be able to talk about while the child had their smile on their faces, did you know that right now your little one is learning language? They're feeling that intrinsic beat as you move them up and down. And this is the temporal awareness that's going to help them, learn to read and walk and move their body. And you're working on their core. And I was able to tie the activity with the why it's important. And
Mhm.
so I knew that that's what I wanted to do. And so I set out to get into more schools teaching, like I said, birth through five music education. I built
Mhm.
a team of teachers who go out and teach music classes because I can only be so many places
Yeah.
at one time. And up to 2020, we were reaching about 30 schools, 7 teachers. It was
Mm.
amazing.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I'm out there working with teachers, getting them excited about using music in their classroom, even though they think their voice is horrible.
Mm.
We deal with that. So up until then, that's kind of the way I did it. And then in
Yeah.
2020, when everything quit, that was kind of the point in my career where I'm like, should I quit?
Mm.
Because I was surrounded by people who were not impacted
Mm.
by the closures of things.
Right.
So my husband could keep working. All my friends were they were doctors and they were able to continue to go to work, and
Yeah.
I couldn't go to work.
Mm.
And so that made me think, well, maybe I should just go work with Eric. I guess maybe I'll try to be a financial advisor. I hate that stuff though. I don't
Oh.
want to do that. And so I'm like, what can I do? How
Yeah.
can I still reach people? Because I felt this emptiness inside of
Mm.
me. How could I be sitting here at my house? What about those kids? What are those kids doing? They need
Mhm.
music. So
Mm.
at that point, I'm like, all right, I'm going virtual.
I
And
love it.
so I did that and I still do it. And I would teach kiddos from all over the country. And there was some few that came from other parts of the world. And I would just do that 30-minute music class and I would have them find their chopsticks or their pencils for the rhythm sticks. And I would have them find a box of noodles. So we had shakers. And so it really worked my creative side, but it really still continued to fill my soul with what I feel is my mission in life, is to really get kids excited about learning and about
Mhm.
themselves, but to do it through music. I started teaching ukulele classes for adults with my dad in mind. I'd given him a ukulele he needed to learn. I did a 4-week class on that. And I still keep teaching that virtually. And it's slowly come back. And
Yeah.
now I'm back to 3 teachers, new business, new schools.
Mm.
And I would say we're back. And I'm so happy that I didn't give it up.
Oh,
So
I'm
here I am.
I'm so happy too. Like honestly, that gives me goosebumps because that work needs to happen. And for me, I was so passionate about it. And it wasn't until my son got diagnosed with type 1 diabetes that I
Oh,
had to leave the classroom because I needed to be home for him.
yeah.
But I trained teachers, in consulting, and these are the methods. Did you ever hear GLAD training, that guided language acquisition design?
No, but that sounds interesting.
Okay, you and I have to talk more because I was a GLAD trainer, and so in that I created all of this different content, and you sing it. It's all to music. We didn't use instruments, but it was clapping, and so like I have an all online site too with all this content that's all themed throughout the year, and people want access to these tools. And I love what you're doing, and I think that would be even a fun partnership because if I can help spread the word more about you, it's like I know that's needed. That's how I taught my
Yes.
kids to read. That's how,
Yes.
I mean, my kids love music now. And I'm going to have to sign my daughter up for your ukulele course because she plays the ukulele, but she's just self-taught. She watches YouTube videos.
Yeah.
So,
Well, who knows? With YouTube videos, I mean, you can build a house. So
this
she
is
might be
true. This is
past
true.
me.
She'll teach. But the virtual part, we've seen that too, is like with our business, since we help people create their online business, and then whether it's consulting or honoring their gifts and talents, you saw that shift. And I'm so glad you stuck with it because I see the need. And I think people are getting more and more open to it because of what happened over the last 2 years with COVID, where they're willing to work from home or willing
Yeah.
to online class, and you've made it fun, and I can see you've taken the things you did in person and brought that online and made it fun. And so however I can spread the word about what you do, part of that is why I wanted you here as my guest for Women's History Month to celebrate you. Because not only for school sitting, they can use it in preschools, daycare, parents at home with their kids,
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
I
Absolutely. And
love
I
it.
think that's kind of the big piece is how can music be a part of a child's life?
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing about it is it naturally is just will be. And all you need to do is be around some kids a little bit and start to listen to what I call the songs in their pockets. And
Mm-hmm.
it's where they kind of maybe know a tune. Like I was one of my friends is home with her little one. I think he's 3, and she was singing "The Farmer in the Dell" um,
Yeah.
randomly, and before you knew it, he was changing the words but keeping
Mm-hmm.
the tune of "Farmer in the Dell" off on his own, and she videoed him doing that. And it just shows us that music
Mm-hmm.
is in all of us, and it actually
Yes.
music singing it precedes language. So
Mm-hmm.
we know that it's there. It just needs to be tapped into. And it's the way to actually get us to be able to learn so many things, to recall information, to
Mm-hmm.
plan. And so if you're a parent with a young child, I really just recommend sing to them, say those nursery rhymes that you knew growing up, fill their head with song, play Bob Marley, play all the fun music, dance with them, because in those moments, that's when you can make those connections that will really last a lifetime.
Mm-hmm. I think too, it has so much to do with like self-expression and the ability to communicate and that self-assured, right? Confidence, being able to show up because it is a different skill to be able to sing, project your voice instead of staying
Yeah.
inside. So I love that. I
Yeah.
love
And
that.
yesterday I was in a classroom, a very difficult classroom.
Mm,
And every week when I go to this classroom, I do need to have some self talk. I talk to
mm,
myself beforehand, like, I'm going to make a difference in these kids' lives. They need me. This child who's going to be asking a lot of me is really just needing that attention. I'm going to bring my love. Um, and when I first got there, the teacher was like, "All right, we're gonna do some calming breaths." And so they breathe and whatnot. Um, and then it was my turn, and we started to sing. Well, the thing about singing is it naturally calms your body. When you
yes.
sing, it actually helps to work with your breathing, so you can really regulate it. And we had a great music class, but I really think that just keeping that in mind, that the singing really does help to calm and to slow down our heart rate or to speed it up. But
Yep.
it really, from a physiological standpoint, music has so many impacts that we just don't ever want to lose sight of, as if you're a child or an adult.
Yeah, that is amazing. I just love this on my mind. I'm always thinking like who I can connect you with. There's a podcast guest, Janice Martin, who's on the
Okay.
show. You would love her. I don't know if you watched her podcast, but she is the aerial violinist. She plays
Ooh.
the piano. She's from Juilliard. She was in the military, and then she's created this whole thing with music and dance, and she like plays the violin while doing those silk scarves hanging and the
No
aerial
way.
acrobat.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I gotta see
So
that.
she's amazing. I'm going to connect you guys, maybe in a three-way
Okay.
message, just because it is music takes flight, or,
Yeah,
maybe for
for
this
sure.
expansion thing, because she goes on cruise ships and stuff too. So I know a lot of performers, but that with the arts and music, she even has a children's book. So that might be a cool
Oh,
connection for you.
fun. Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, awesome. Oh my gosh, I love it. I love getting to know more about you. And um, what can people expect when they work with you then?
Motivation,
Mm.
energy, and just a positive attitude and a reminder. I feel like because I'm always reminding myself
Yeah.
about my mission, about
Mhm.
the reason why I'm here, I want to help people tap back into that if they lost it,
Yeah.
or really to help them continue to lean into that on a daily basis. And I do that by reading I personally read a sheet every day where I have all of the things that I'm here for, my current goals, things that I want to make sure I do throughout the day. So I want to pass that on to other people, because I just think that we can get stuck in this, day in and day out,
Mhm.
but the world will just go by us. So how do we live our life to make sure that we're not, an audience member, but we're an active participant, and we can look back, or like they do in the. I think you were talking about this with one of your podcast guests, but um, the seven secrets of highly successful
Yes.
people. I know
Yeah.
that's the title of
By
it, but
Stephen
yeah,
Covey. Oh my gosh, I love
yeah.
that book.
But I think it's just so important to always be reminding ourselves that we have a chance right now to write our eulogy. What's
Mm.
yours going to be? What's yours going to be? Because today is the day.
Hmm.
And if we wait, it might be too late.
Yeah.
And so today's my day. Today's my day to make a difference. And today, just getting this opportunity to maybe put that into someone's mind. Are you living the life that you would
Mhm.
be proud of?
Oh, so beautiful. I just love, you're such a sparkler. I'm like, okay, you're getting all the sparkles. I love your heart. I love your message. I'm gonna help more people know about you. Like just through this, we have completely family friendly channels, and a lot of families of not only homeschoolers, but educators or people looking for resources. So I want to make sure that you're able to get your link and stuff. We'll put that in the bio so people can for sure access you, because they'll just be able to click there, or um, I want to see if people, oh, okay, so some of the ways you've done pretty well as far as like reaching people and expanding. I know with social media presence and networking and trying to grow an audience, a lot of people struggle with that. They're like, cool, you might have the coolest thing in the world, but if other people don't know about it, it's like putting your candle under a basket, right? Nobody can
Yeah.
see that light. You can't spread it. So what would be a suggestion for you if somebody, maybe there's a young kid out there, they're like, I have an idea or a book or a song, or they want to get it out, what do you suggest for them?
I would say, well, now social media. Make yourself a TikTok video. And also, I think just always make sure, though, with this, I do want to caveat it by saying, is that what you want? Because
Mhm.
in some ways, and maybe this isn't the direction that you wanted the call to go, this
Hey,
question to go,
it's all right,
but
bring it.
I think it's important to have it not always be an extrinsic reward. you
Yeah,
know because making
for
a
sure.
song, writing a book,
Mhm.
you know creating something, it can be for the sheer enjoyment of doing it, of the
Mhm.
process.
Yeah.
And I think right now this world is so attached to likes and
Mhm.
comments, and oh, I got a bad comment, that's the one I'm going to remember.
Right.
And I think I want to pull it back, because I would say, are you enjoying it first? Are you
Mhm.
enjoying it, and why are you doing it? So before they even get a chance to spread it, making sure that it's for the right reasons.
I love that. Honestly, I support that 100%. And we had a friend, she was asking me because, okay, I have 5 published books. And they're like, my daughter likes to write stories, should we publish right now? And I said, you know what, the best thing you could do for a young writer, encourage her writing, let her write stories, let her give them to her friends, let her just keep doing it for fun. Like everything doesn't have to get
Yeah.
turned into a business, but just
Yeah.
foster that love. And to help people break out of that, my husband, we did this 50 days of success challenge we created to help people like spiral up. And he has one of the things was you have to make a piece of art and then you have to throw it away,
Yeah.
because it's just do it for fun. Like you don't
Yep.
have to sell it, you don't have to frame it, you don't have to
Yep.
collect it, like tons of stuff in your house. Just, just do it for the pure enjoyment. And I love that. Like I encourage my kids a lot of times, just we'll have unplugged time, period, where it's like go outside, we're gonna go out and play, we're gonna go visit with the, chickens, walk around the farm, go see the
Yeah.
donkey, like just be. And you do, it is so different for these kids. Like I don't know about you, but I'm glad we didn't have social media and cell
Oh, I
phones. I
know.
got to just be a kid
I
and
know.
teenager with all those goofy moments, and they're not documented,
Oh, I know. I'm glad about that.
right. I know. So I echo what you're saying. Right. And what about if someone wanted to do what you do? It's pretty specialized, but what skills or training would they need?
So, if somebody wanted to start like a business like this, I think really one of the biggest ways is the hardest thing, and that's to call
Mm,
people and let them know that you're out there. Sometimes I think, oh, I'm gonna get to this point where the phone's just gonna ring and they're just gonna just be calling me left and right, asking me to go speak and do and whatever. And it's interesting because it doesn't always, well, it doesn't happen like that very often.
yeah.
Instead, I have to be the one to grab the phone, to make the calls, to go, this really sucks, to hear the no's,
Mm,
and then to get the yeses. Because I've noticed that when I do that, when I put that intention out there and I put that energy out there, um,
yes.
that's when my calendar fills up. That's
Mhm.
when I have things going on. So it's about realizing that you got to make your own future. You've got to make it
Yeah.
happen. Um, we can't sit around waiting for someone else to discover us. It's just getting out there, telling your story to as many people as possible, anybody who will listen, opportunities like this. And, I'll call people and I still think, oh, sometimes this voice will come in, everybody's already singing. Everybody
Mhm.
knows how to do everybody knows how to play the ukulele. Everybody knows how to manage a group. And then I'll do a training. And
Mhm.
I just did one last week, and it was on the importance of using music and movement in the classroom because this teacher, the director of the program, said, no one's singing, no teachers are singing.
Oh yeah.
And I went on there and I just told them why music is so important. And I went into
Mhm.
all the different areas and you could see their faces like they didn't even know it. And that honestly is what's keeping me going. There are
Yeah.
so many people out there that have never even tapped into this stuff. So back to the first question is, what would you do if you were wanting to start a business like this? I would say get your message out there by calling and contacting
Mhm.
as many people as possible.
That's awesome. And it's really cool because you share that journey of like the no. I think a lot of people don't honor hearing no. Like, what did you learn from hearing so many no's?
That they were not the right people.
Nice.
Because, I think about all the no's that I got and how thankful. I always think about Garth Brooks' song, um,
Yeah.
uh, Unanswered Prayers.
Uh-huh.
And I really do love that song. And I then think about the people who I've now connected with and these schools that truly believe that music makes a difference. And they pay me and my teachers to come every single week to
Hmm.
share that gift with their children. And our values align. And all
Hmm.
those other people who said no, either my messaging was not good or they weren't there yet. And
Yeah.
that's okay. That's okay. I'd rather serve and work with people who get me and
Hmm.
understand where I'm coming from instead of force someone to try to understand.
Yeah. Well, and I'm just seeing that loss of things that I grew up with, like we had band, we had music, we had band or music was every day. And now I look at a lot of schools when they've cut their entire music program, and these kids, like it does affect reading, and it does affect math, and it affects their confidence or opportunity to try and see they could master a new instrument or even know what the opera is, or all these different, they're not getting exposure to those things. And so I'm really an advocate of what you're doing, and I'm going to help be one of your like whistleblowers and spread the word. That's why I wanted you on here. I'm like, people have to know what Jocelyn's doing. It's so important. And would your ideal, so the school age would be about pre-K through second grade, is that correct? Or
Well, that I work with,
okay,
I would say probably birth through first grade would be
first through
my,
first grade.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, second
Okay.
graders start to think, I don't know if she's that cool. I am teaching a virtual fourth through sixth grade class every week, which has been a stretch for me, but a lot of fun. And this week we're learning the recorders, and so that's always fun. But yeah, for the most part, I like them shorter than me.
Okay. That's a great qualifier. That's awesome. All right. Oh my gosh, that's so good. And what is the best way for people to get in contact with you if they'd like to work with you?
Yeah, you can check out my website, musicallyminded.net, or you can visit my Facebook page, Musically Minded Seattle.
Perfect. And then you said you do travel as well if they want to hire you to come out to be a featured speaker at an event or come train their school for a music celebration event.
Absolutely, yeah. So like right now, I'm working with my local school district and the transitional kindergarten program, and I've done schools all around, and just really helping those teachers in the classroom work on classroom management using music as a strategy to get kids excited about learning and also listening, so the teachers can send those directions and create a more joyful classroom.
It's perfect, and it's for teachers, parents, and you would also teach like virtual classes for kids.
Yep, virtual classes for kids on Wednesdays. So if you are, working parent or a grandparent and you're with your child at home, or if you have a preschool and in-home daycare, you get music class right here every week, and you don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to leave your house.
That's so cool. And do you have that like as part of a membership site or a class? How could they do that if they want to do it virtually?
Yeah, you go to musicallyminded.net/virtual. You can learn more about how you can sign up for those classes.
That's awesome. And what are they talking about? I know for me, like personally, my parents used to pay someone, and I know a lot of times if you're going to hire someone to come privately, it might be $100 even an hour to get someone to do specialized training just for your child to teach them an instrument. What about your course?
So it's quite reasonable. It's $30 a month. So the music class, and it's not one-on-one, it's group music class.
Yeah.
So we're, people are coming in from all over, but it's definitely a great price for what you get. And it's lots of fun.
And that's for a month. So they're going to get 4 sessions a month for like about a half hour for that.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's a huge deal. We're gonna blow the doors wide open on this, because the fact that they can attend virtually and you have this amazing training, like that's awesome. That really makes it where music can be accessible around the world. That's phenomenal.
Exactly. It's
very cool. I love it. And then do you have a quote that you would like to share to inspire our listeners?
Oh, my favorite quote is from John Wooden. Life works out best for those that make the best out of how life works out.
Oh, I love that. That's great. Okay. And then this one's just for me, like kind of selfish fun, but I'm doing a book and I'm going to include leaders, and I want to see if you were going to write a hashtag to your younger self, what would it be?
Oh man, that's a good question.
Thank you.
Hashtag number sign.
Yeah.
I always think about that, like hashtag number sign.
Yeah.
Hashtag enjoy the ride.
Awesome. Oh my gosh. I have loved having you on the show today, and you are an amazing woman in history doing incredible things. You are a legacy and legend. You're spreading the love of music, which is so needed. So I wanted to tell you from the bottom of my heart, thank you for the work you do. It's so important. And I know you're changing lives. So if you have a hard day or maybe a tough class or people not supporting, I will always have your back. You can reach
Thank
out.
you.
I will send you a love note. I would be happy to. And
Oh,
I'll have to send you a little music thing. I'm just thinking of you from Branson. So if you want to message
oh,
me your address, I just want to send you something to just bless and encourage you. You can hold on to on those tough days that come as an
oh,
educator.
I love that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jocelyn. Okay, I hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll make sure all of your contact information is in the bio so our listeners can jump into your class and spread the word about what you do. And thank you so much for sharing your love of music and your passion as an educator.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, bye, Jocelyn.
Bye-bye.